Hello students, I'm your English teacher Dr. Reni Charan and we'll be starting with the first class of grammar today. This is your grammar book, The Grammar Builder, and I'll start with the first chapter. The first chapter is about components of language. So what is a language? Language is a system of sounds, words, patterns of verbs or maybe other things which is used by human beings to communicate. Then you know what are alphabets. You have learned English alphabets as well as Hindi alphabets. Here we are talking about English alphabets. You know very well they are from A to Z and there are 26 alphabets in all. Now, what's a letter? Letter is a written or printed sign which is used in speech. Letter is the smallest unit of a language. So, there are capital letters as well as small letters. And you know very well there are vowels. Which are the 5 vowels? A, E, I, O, U. And all the other letters, all the other 21 letters apart from these vowels are called consonants. Now what's a word? Word, when you combine certain letters and they give a clear meaning. They give a clear meaning and we can express ourselves in that particular form. That is called a word. What I have underlined is the meaning of a word or the definition of a word. Then we come to sentence. Now, when words are arranged in a particular order so that they make sense. The cat runs after the rat. Now, we have words and they are making sense. So, we'll call this a sentence. But rat runs the cat after. These are words but they are not in a particular order and they are not making any sense. So we will not be able to call it a sentence. For sentence, the words should be written in a way that they make sense. Then a sentence is made up of 2 components, 2 parts. The first is a phrase and second is a clause. Now you need to listen this carefully. A phrase is a group of words. There may be 3, 4, 5 words. But remember, a phrase never has a verb. You will never find a verb in a phrase. Like in the morning or in the evening. She may be. All these are phrases. Ought to be hungry. These are phrases. They do not have a verb with them. And the second part is clause. Now, clause is a group of words that includes a subject as well as a verb. That becomes a part of a sentence. Now, you may have a question that when a clause has a subject, it has a verb. Then a sentence also has a subject and a verb. What is the difference between a clause and a sentence? A clause has a verb and a subject, but it may not give a complete meaning or a complete sentence every time. But a sentence always is complete in itself. Like the example of clause has been given there. I think you have gone wrong. Now this has a subject and a verb also. So this is a clause. These are 2 parts of a sentence. Later on, while doing the exercise, you will understand the sentence, phrases and clauses in a better way. We come to the second page. Paragraph. It is written or a printed text. It usually consists of several sentences, but they have a single theme. Like if you are writing an essay or an article on my visit to Shimla, you will start with the particular day that you had to leave. You had to go by a train, then with all the luggage and with a lot of excitement, you boarded the train and reached Shimla. What all you did in the train and your excitement, what all things you carried along with you, all this can come in one paragraph. You are talking about one thing. Now, when you reach Shimla and you start having good time over there, you go to places, you go to visit places, you click photographs with your family, all this will be written in second paragraph. So the whole essay you are writing about your trip to Shimla, but it will be divided in paragraphs, and every paragraph will have particular theme about it. The first paragraph told you your journey from your home to Shimla, your excitement, what all you were carrying, your journey in the train, people you met, all this. In the second paragraph, you can add the places which you visited in Shimla, or the people you met, or the nice places you went to and had a good time over there. That will come in the second paragraph. Okay. Now there are certain other terms which are called grammatical terms. The first is prefix. It is not a word in itself, but it is placed in the beginning of a word to modify its meaning. Like you can see, they have given example over here. Impossible. Now possible is a word in itself, but im is not a word. It is just added to change the meaning of the word. The initial word is possible. You have to change the meaning, so you can add im to it in the beginning, and the meaning will be different. From possible, the word will become impossible. Meaning is entirely different. From believe, the word can become disbelief. Now, believe is a word, but dis is not a word. Dis is just being used in the beginning of a word, that is believe, to change the meaning of belief, and that becomes disbelief. Regular is a word, but IR is not a word. Still, IR is added in the beginning of regular to make it irregular. So all these prefixes which are being added, they are changing the meaning of the main word. Possible becomes impossible, believe becomes disbelief, and regular becomes irregular. Suffix is now another word which does not have a meaning. Like im, dis, ir, they didn't have a meaning. And in the same way, suffix also does not have a meaning. Like you can see full, en, er, these words do not have a meaning, but they are added at the end of a word to change its meaning. Like full is added after mercy to change it to merciful. See, there will be a little difference in the spelling also when the suffix will be added. Like you see gold, en is added, so it becomes golden. You wrote gold and then added en, simple. But the same will not happen every time. Borrow, you added er and it becomes borrower. But the same will not happen with mercy. If you write mercy, mercy, and then you add full in front of it, merciful is a right word, but the spelling mercyful will not be correct. The spelling will be wrong. So when suffixes are added, A little difference comes in the spellings sometimes. Then comes the particle. The prefixes which you have learnt, suffixes, then there are articles, a and the, preposition like in, of, is, under, upon, conjunctions like but, and some other adverbs. All this together they are called particles. So this brings us to the end of the first chapter. Let's revise. So we have certain questions over here which are in the form of fill in the blanks. How many letters are there in English alphabet? You know there are 26 letters. Combination of letters in a fixed order is called a word. Then where do we place a prefix? Prefix, like it's written on the same page at the top. It's added in the beginning of the word. Phrase is a group of words without a verb. Remember this. This is important for you to know the meaning of a phrase. That phrase always will never contain a verb. A group of words that includes a subject and a verb is called a clause. Now, on the third page you have certain sentences where you have to rewrite them, and there are certain punctuation marks mistakes also. Like every sentence, if you see, there is no capital letter. Although every sentence, the rules of grammar says that every sentence should start with a capital letter. If it is a sentence, it should end with a full stop, and if it is a question, it should end with a question mark. First sentence, if we see, balloons my sister and I like. These words have been written together, but they are not making any sense. They are not making a proper sentence. But if we put the words in the correct order, like it has been done for you in the book. My sister and I like balloons. Remember, you will always start a sentence with a capital letter. Whenever I is written alone, it is always written in capitals. And you will end the sentence with a full stop. The second sentence also I have done for you. Ran fox the away with of cheese piece. Now these group of words, they do not make any meaning. But when we will put them together again, like the fox ran away with the piece of cheese, this is a meaningful sentence. You will start the sentence with a capital letter. T of the will be capital, and you will end with a full stop. After cheese, there will be a full stop. So all these sentences have to be attempted by you. Try to write them in a way that they give out a clear meaning. Then the next exercise is read each of the following groups of words and write whether it is a phrase, clause, or a sentence. So the first sentence has been given to you. We enjoy playing cricket. Here don't worry if there is no question mark or full stop. You do not have to put any punctuation marks. You only have to write in front of the sentence whether it is a sentence, phrase, or a clause. Remember, a sentence will always have a complete and clear meaning. We enjoy playing cricket. This first question which is given to you, this is actually a sentence because it has a verb, it has subject, it is complete in itself and giving us a clear meaning. Now if we come to the second one, early in the morning, this is incomplete and Moreover, it has no verb. So if you remember, I told you that when there is no verb, that part becomes a phrase. Like I have already told you in the meaning of phrase, a group of words without a verb. So the second one will be a phrase. We cannot find a verb over here. Third, because she was unwell. This is also not giving us any clear meaning. This is not a complete sentence, and moreover, it is a phrase because we cannot find a verb over here also. Fourth, if you eat too much. Now we have a subject over here, you, and eat is a verb, but this is not giving us any clear meaning or a complete sentence. So although this has verb, but the fourth one will not be considered as a sentence, and it will be considered as a clause. Like I have already taught you the meaning of clause, that it is a group of words which contains a subject and a verb. But like I told you while I was teaching about clause does not give us a complete meaning or a complete sentence every time. So that is why the fourth one will be a clause. It has a verb, but it is not giving us any complete sentence. If you eat too much, then you may get sick. This may be a sentence. But what is written at the fourth place, if you eat too much, this is something incomplete. Therefore, it will be called a clause. So rest of the sentences, you have to attempt yourself whether they will be a clause, phrase, or a sentence. Do the exercise on page number 6. This exercise has to be done in the book itself. But the two exercises on page number 7, rewrite the following group of words, and second exercise, read each of the following and tell whether they are phrase, clause, or sentence. This you have to do in a grammar copy. You have to make 3 copies, one for your reader, second for the supplementary reader, and third for grammar. This exercise will be done in the grammar copy. That is all for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask me later. And we come to the end of the first chapter, Components of Language.